Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to J Wall Sports. We are back here with another episode.
Another one. Hey, Pistol,
This,
our receiver, hit my line. Hit my line.
what is up with you in this? When you bench your seasoned veteran quarterback this late in the season, it's sending a message to the team.
Then goes out. And now they want to play with some heart. They want to play with some effort.
I see why Doc got fired. If you're not gonna make the adjustments as a coach, you need to go up and get up out of here.
Wentz has regressed. And it's a mental.
Disclaimer: he might have some outrageous, Max Kellerman type, things to say today. I don't know what he's gonna say, but the way he's starting off his video is giving me them vibes.
What's up, J-Wall Sports fans? It's your boy Lamar Wiley Jr. and we're back with another episode. We have a guest standing in for Nyshawn today. He's out for the week. So we have Chris Ruff from Timeout Sports. Ruff, man, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited. Week 6 was an exciting, I can't say it was an exciting week of football because there was a lot of blowouts.
Absolutely. It was a lot of games that were over. Midway through the second, you were like, well, this one is over.
Right. But we still have, some excitement from tonight's game, the Bills versus the Titans. The Bills will travel to Tennessee to take on the Titans on Monday Night Football. Since losing in week 1, the Bills have won every game by 2 touchdowns. Who are you taking in this AFC matchup?
For tonight's Monday Night Football game, I'm going with the Bills. I'm thinking about 7 to 10 points. I think that what happened is that the Bills will get up early, and then the Titans will have to change their game script, change their game flow. The Titans are a team that normally likes to run the football. I think in this game they'll have to kind of air it out late, late third, early fourth. And I'm going to just go with the Bills. Like I said, I think that A.J. Brown potentially being hampered with the hamstring injury is not a good thing for them and for the Titans. And then you have also Julio Jones, who's going to play, but, just came off an injury as well. And so I just think they're going up against a team that's very good on both sides of the ball in the Buffalo Bills. And they're going to end up taking a loss as a result of it.
Right. I completely agree with you. I'm thinking it depends on who gets the ball first. For me, I still think the Bills are going to win, but how close is going to depend on who gets the ball first. If the Titans are able to establish that run game early with Derrick Henry, and because since week 1, he's been averaging 140 yards, about 145 yards a game. So if they can get the ball first and establish him and control the clock, then I think it'll be that sort of kind of low scoring game. But those injuries that you talked about, that's serious because, Julio Jones, he's coming off the IR list, and A.J. Brown, he's the number 3 in receiving yards. He's on the IR list, and he will be out for tonight. Chester Rogers, he's questionable for tonight, but he's number 2 in receiving yards. So their receiving core is very questionable, and I don't think Julio, I think age is sort of getting to him. So I don't think he can go out and he could carry this entire offense like the Julio we know used to be able to.
I disagree somewhat. Obviously, he's not Julio Jones from his peak, but I do believe that he's still a very good receiver. I would say probably still a top 10 receiver in the league. Yeah. If you watch the games that he's played so far this season, he's looked good. He had a touchdown called back. I don't know why it was called back because it was clearly a touchdown. I still believe in Julio. And you said A.J. Brown is going to be out. He's questionable. He's actually been cleared for as far as the hamstring, but he has an illness. And that's why he's questionable. It seems like he got kind of like a stomach bug, eating some fast food. I saw one of his tweets. And so if he's not, even if he plays, if he's not 100%, that's not going to be good for them because, like I said, the Bills have a really good defense and their run defense is stout. Right. So they're going to have to air it out, in my opinion, for them to stay in it, the Titans.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. Julio, he's still a top 10, but I don't think he can go out there and, take on like 15 to that 20 reception range to, keep the team elite, to keep the team in like a close game situation with no other, like healthy receivers. Because at that point, the Bills have a good defense. They're just going to double down on covering Julio and make other people, win the game for them.
I agree.
The next topic is your Washington football team. They didn't come out on top. It was close for the most part, but they didn't come out on top. And Patrick Mahomes, he turned the ball over 3 times. And Taylor Heineke, he threw for 182 yards on 24-39 passing attempts. What could your team have done better to slow down this Chiefs offense?
You know what, man? From last week, I knew that the Chiefs were going to win this game. Even when it was close early, I said they're still going to win this game. The Washington football team did not take advantage of the turnovers. They needed to get touchdowns when they scored them, when they had them turnovers, and they did not. When you talk about the Chiefs, you have a quarterback in Patrick Mahomes who has not played as good as he is accustomed to. He's making a lot of turnovers. He's taking risks, unnecessary risks. I said on Twitter a few weeks ago that he's arrogant when you talk as a football player. Patrick Mahomes knows his talent. He knows that he can make a throw. He can make any throw, no matter the angle, no matter if he's running, if he's set his feet or not. And that leads to arrogance. He tries some throws that he should not make, and that's leading to turnovers. At this point, I think the Washington football defense is just very disappointing. It's underachieved. Landon Collins is so slow, so bad in coverage. They either need to make him a full-time linebacker or either cut him. Landon Collins as a corner, it's not going to work. As a member of the safety unit, it's not going to work. He's slow. He cannot cover anymore. Our linebacking core overall is not good. When you talk about the D line, Chase Young, Sweat, Payne, they're not doing what they need to do. And so for me, I just thought that we needed to take, as an offense, we needed to capitalize on those turnovers. Anything that the Chiefs did offensively, it didn't shock me in the second half because I felt like they were going to win the game, and it was just a matter of time where they would open it up.
All right. I mean, when I looked at the game, it was close after the third quarter. It was 17-13. You guys are only down by 5. I was looking at it. You guys did everything the right way. I mean, the defense held every receiver to under 100 yards. The running back only rushed for 62 yards. Other than, capitalizing on the turnovers, like you said, I don't know what the team was supposed to do even better against, a high octane offense, like the Chiefs, because they do have weapons everywhere. They got Travis Kelce, they got Tyreek Hill, and they got Josh Gordon, who he's an offensive weapon. Even though he hasn't really found his groove in this offense yet, we all know what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, they're loaded. But as far as the Washington offense, I said before the season that I thought we could be, the division winner. But with me saying that, I figured that our defense would be as good as last year, if not one notch better. Not going from being a top 5, top 6 defense to being bottom of the pack, okay? That's issue number 1 with that team. Number 2 is you have a quarterback who has kind of overachieved, but he's still not the answer. We took one playoff game by Taylor Heineke where he played pretty well against the Bucs, and now some people want to make him a franchise quarterback. It doesn't work like that. So we need a quarterback next year. We're going to need to either draft or get a quarterback that can be there for years and we can build around.
Yeah, I mean, Taylor Heineke, he's obviously he's not the answer, but for his 14th game, I don't think he's playing bad. I mean, he's going through pretty much, like the ups and downs that, sort of Kyler Murray went through in his second year, Joe Burrow went through in their first year, and, some of the things that Baker Mayfield is going through. So I think he's going through those little ups and downs. I mean, I don't think he's going to be our long-term answer, but at the level he's playing at right now, he's playing really well.
Taylor Heineke, for me, I watch all the games as a Washington fan. He's made some good plays, but a lot of his throws are high. A lot of them. I mean, they set either it's going to be a turnover or he's setting up his teammates to get killed on the football field. His throws are so high that they have to jump up, and that puts you at risk when you have defensive players looking to come in and make a tackle. So that's like I said. I mean, Taylor has not been the problem by any means, but we can't look at him and think he's our long-term future. The main problem with Washington is health. I figured that we would have well, I didn't figure that because it seems like we always have a lot of injuries. But I hoped that we would be somewhat healthy, and I thought that if we were, we could be a factor. But when you talk about losing Logan Thomas, you talk about Curtis Samuel, who you gave over $11 million a year, and he's played in one game. I mean, just been a non-factor, been a waste of money. Diami Brown, the rookie out of Carolina, who got a lot of praise and got a lot of hype, has not panned out so far. He's supposed to be a deep ball catcher, and he's really only catching, 5-yard pass plays over the middle. And so it's just a lot of things that went wrong with that team. But like I said, it starts with the defense and Landon Collins. I don't understand why he's still a member of the Washington football team.
Yeah. So it's a really hot topic that was, early on towards like beginning of the season is, Cam Newton potentially coming, back, going back to pairing up with Ron Rivera. How possible do you think that is now, after, this last game?
I don't believe it's possible. He's not coming to Washington. Ron Rivera's made it pretty clear that he is, for whatever reason, he's not interested. I think he's made that clear at this point. They asked him that weeks ago. And he said that we're good with our locker room. Even when Fitzpatrick got hurt, that would have been an opportunity for you to bring Cam in and say, okay, now him and Heineke could have had like a quarterback competition. You don't just give Cam the job, but they could have had a competition. You see who's playing the best, and it go like that. So for me, I don't believe that Cam Newton coming to Washington will happen. Of course, it came out last night that he has been vaccinated. And so it looks like the Seattle Seahawks are a possibility with the injury to Russell Wilson. I would assume teams maybe like Miami could be a factor. It's a few teams that he could go to, and they're saying that he has a couple opportunities where he might even be able to be the starter. I just think with Cam Newton, where his fans see him and what he's actually done lately on the field is two different things. You got to be able to separate. I think that Cam Newton, he's not a bad quarterback, but there's certain people that just overhype what he's doing, in my opinion. And a lot of people say that I'm a Cam hater. I have no reason to hate Cam. Never done anything to me, but I go off of what I see. And, if you temper your expectations, then you'll be fine. But I said months ago, that he should still be in the league, of course. And I believe that he's going to be.
Right. Me and Sean, we always go back to that Iron Athlete podcast that he was on. He said he's not number 32, and for sure, he's not number 32 on the list of quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
No, I would probably. I mean, I don't know. He's not 32, but he's not at the top half either. I mean, he's probably in the 20. He's 20 plus for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know how you disagree with that. There's some people that want to act like he's 10 or something, and that's just crazy.
Yeah, I don't think he's still a top 10 quarterback.
No.
Yeah.
No way.
No, but somebody who is cracking that top 10, now probably in that top 5, and a lot of people are really high on him, is Kyler Murray. And he's leading his team to 6-0 for the start of the 2021 NFL season. And they have wins over playoff teams like the Titans, the Rams, the 49ers, and the Browns. You posted on Twitter earlier this week how they were talking down on JJ Watt for signing with this team over the offseason. How far do you see this team going?
You know what? Yeah, man, I take it back. When he first signed with the Cardinals, everybody said, oh, he's just looking for money. The Cardinals aren't a contender. They're not going to make the playoffs. I first told people, I said, yes, I do believe the Cardinals will make the playoffs if they stay healthy. Because if you look at it, Kyler Murray last season played well, and they played well in about the first 10 games of the season. And then he got hurt, had a shoulder injury, and he never recovered. He was playing, but he was not healthy. And from there, they went down. But in my opinion, this year, they have a great offense. Like you said, Kyler Murray is playing phenomenal. He can beat you with his arm. He can beat you on the ground. We have weapons. You have A.J. Green, who was an underrated pickup. You're not looking for A.J. Green to have 6 catches for 100 yards anymore. But if he can give you 3 catches for 45 yards, and then you have Christian Kirk, who's capable. Of course, you have DeAndre Hopkins, who is phenomenal. You have James Conner, who looks like he's found his groove in a new offense, with a new team in the Cardinals. Chase Edmonds can run it and catch it. So they have weapons. And then when you talk about the defense, you have Chandler Jones, who is a playmaker on that side of the ball. Like we said, J.J. Watt. It's not his old self, of course, not his prime J.J. Watt, but he's still able to make plays. And that's what they're doing, man. The Cardinals look like a team that is a contender and can make noise. I can't really say who's going to go to the, NFC Championship and Super Bowl and all that at this point. But provided that they are healthy, they stay healthy, they will be a factor. They're obviously going to make the playoffs at this point unless something just crazy happens. I think it would take another Kyler Murray injury for them to miss the playoffs. And once they get there, I think they'll have a chance.
All right. I mean, me personally, I say they'll make it to the NFC Championship. I'm not completely sold on, them yet because it's some things I want to see from Kyler, with this new offense. I want to see, can they come from behind, how they go in the close game. I mean, the only close game they've had was with my Vikings, and my Vikings we have like an average offense. If the run game isn't going for us in that game, then it's a little difficult for us to score and a little difficult for Kirk Cousins to find his targets. But for me, I think I'll be able to find out. I'm going to say by week 14, I'll be able to find out, because in week 8 is when the regular season gets real for them, because they from week 8 to 11, they go from Green Bay to the 49ers, the Panthers, and then the Seahawks in week 11. And Russell Wilson, that may be his first or his second game back, or he may not be back at all. His target time is week 10, so we don't really know about that. And then week 12, they have the bye. And then they go from week 14 to the Rams, to week 17, the Cowboys, and then back to the Seahawks. And week 18 when Russell Wilson will most definitely be back, barring any other injuries. So I feel like by that time, I can be able to tell. I want to say they can make it all the way to the Super Bowl, but I'm not ready to say that with confidence yet.
I agree with you. Like you said, the latter part of their schedule is going to show you some things about them. As they start to face their tougher opponents. And to be completely real, they should have lost that Vikings game. I mean, they just missed a chip shot field goal.
Tell me about it.
So, but the Cardinals are a factor. One thing to look out for is Odell Beckham Jr. There's some rumors and speculation that the Green Bay Packers could be interested in trading for him.
Ooh.
I do not believe that Odell Beckham can't play anymore. I believe that if you put him on the Packers with Aaron Rodgers on opposite side of Devontae Adams, then you will have something special. Yeah, so if that happens, Green Bay can take a step up, especially once they get some of their defensive guys back.
Right. And if they can get Odell Beckham, I think that'll give Aaron Rodgers some leeway to want to stay, because the one thing that he's been off about is he doesn't have another comparable receiver to go along with Devontae Adams. Yeah,
that would show them that he's trying to make a difference to that team. And it did go and get his guy Randall Cobb, which he wanted, and Randall Cobb has had some good games. So it just shows that camaraderie is important.
All right. So the last topic for today is a pretty interesting one, because it's about a rookie and a quarterback who's in their second year, and that's Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, who they've been one of the best quarterback wide receiver duos. Look, and they're looking like they haven't missed a beat since their LSU days. Jamar Chase has accounted for 553 of Joe Burrow's 1,500 passing yards on 27 of 103 completions from Joe Burrow, which leads the Bengals. Where do you rank this quarterback wide receiver duo in NFL for this year?
You know what? You put me on the spot a little bit. I hadn't actually broke that down. Of course, if you go, you're not going to put them over Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
There's just no way. You're not going to put them over Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers.
Correct.
I mean, Tom Brady, Chris Godwin, or Mike Evans. Really, you still have to.
Ooh,
I mean,
that's one I forgot about.
I mean, it's either or.
Yeah. I also said Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins.
Yes, of course. I just went blank because I don't have all of the people in front of me. If I knew, I would have made a list. But yeah, DeAndre Hopkins, like you said, Kyler Murray for sure.
Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a good amount of duos you're still going to take over them, but they're definitely showing promise. Jamar Chase, it's been very encouraging and impressive that he's been able to get rid of those drops. You know, people were killing him in the preseason. It looked like he wouldn't even be nothing in the regular season, and he's played well, like you said. He's a deep threat. Pretty much every game he has a long catch, and most of them has been for touchdowns. So they look good. And Joe Burrow, I think, is going to only get better once he starts to trust himself as far as his leg, and maybe be able to run it a little bit more. That'll make him more dynamic.
Yeah. So I wrote down my list, and I put them at number 5, but I forgot about Tom Brady and Mike Evans or Chris Godwin. And I'm really off on them because Tom Brady, he distributes it so well to everybody. I don't think I could call them a high market or high value duo. Does that make sense?
Excuse me. Yes, absolutely. I'm just kind of going off of, I guess, where the people rank. If you're going off like the deadliness of the duo, then yeah, they'll probably still be over Tom Brady. Because like you said, he's splitting it.
Yeah, that's sort of where I took it, because I put Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers at number 1. I put Kyler Murray and D-Hop at number 3. Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill at Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins at number 2. Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill at number 3. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs at number 4. And then I put Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase at number 5. And when I started looking at their numbers, it pretty much just proved it to myself, because like on the list of people that I have, and I have way more because I have Ryan Tannehill and Julio, Lamar and Hollywood, Russell and DK Metcalf, Dak, and I put CD instead of Amari, and I went Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. Out of all of them, the two, they ranked number 7 in targets, and they were number 4 in receiving yards. They're tied for number 3 in touchdowns and number 4 in yards per game. So when they match up against, the rest of these high power, duos, they look pretty well. And it's Jamar Chase. This is rookie year, which is honestly where he's ranking at in the entire NFL too, is just mind blowing to me at this point.
Oh, I agree. You're going for more so what they did this season. And if I do that too, then yeah, I mean, they'll be ranked pretty highly. But I was just kind of going off of, if somebody said, which duo would you rather have going forward?
Oh, it's obviously.
I would take a lot of the ones that I said.
Yeah.
So that's just a little bit of a difference in how we attack the question. But Jamar and Joe have looked good for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you. You think they could possibly make the playoffs? I mean, they are at 4-2 right now.
4-2. It's so early, man. I mean, 4-2 is just not enough of a sample size. It's 11 games left. I don't know exactly what their schedule looks like. Of course, we know that they're a team that does not have much margin for error. They can't have injuries start to creep in, or it will really hurt them. So I think that I guess they have a chance, but I'm not going to say that they're going to make it this early.
I understand you. Well, that's all we got for you guys today. Appreciate you guys for tuning into another episode of J Wall Sport. And while you guys are at it, go ahead and follow Ruff on Twitter and Instagram at Timeout Sports. And you have the WNBA League Fit page, right?
Yes, the Twitter account is Timeout Sports 3. The Instagram account is Timeout Sports with 2 underscores. And then I'm also, like you said, working on stuff with the WNBA or about the WNBA. WNBA League Fits is the Instagram, and Fits_WNBA is the Twitter.
All right, you guys have it right there. So make sure you guys follow him, comment on his photos, repost them, retweet them, do all of that. And guys, stay tuned for it. He got some more episodes coming out. When's your next episode coming out for your podcast?
My next podcast episode, I hadn't decided yet. I'm working on some more interviews, but I'll probably at this point do something the end of the week, and it'll kind of just be like a first week of the NBA recap.
Okay, yep.
And talk a little bit of NFL. As we know, it's homecoming. I said HOMECO. MING is homecoming, y'all.
Yes, sir.
So we busy with that. But yeah, stay tuned, like you said, and I appreciate you for having me on. Y'all make sure to stay locked in with J Wall Sports. And keep supporting.
All right, man. Appreciate you.